Okay, I do have all the lights on. Hey, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rachel. If you're new here, I'm Rachel, and I'm 33 weeks and 1 day pregnant, and I'm filming a pregnancy update. I'm gonna try to be better about filming pregnancy updates through the end of the pregnancy. My camera's really trying to focus on the refrigerator. I don't want that. I'd prefer it to focus on me. That's just my personality. Just kidding. So I'm just getting the kids dinner ready. I was gonna film this after they go to bed, but I'm so doggone tired right now. I figured I would go ahead and film as much as I could right now. If I don't get it all done, then I'll film the rest after they go to bed, and this will go live tomorrow, which for you is today, Sunday. So I was gonna talk about any new symptoms I've had since my last pregnancy update. If you wanna hear about weeks 17 through 31, then that video is a couple videos back. You can check that out. But this is really about like weeks 32, 33, which have been, you know, the start of the third trimester I think is around 28 weeks, and that 3 or 4 weeks of the beginning of the third trimester, is that right? I think so, were the easiest by far of the whole pregnancy. It was like my mental state finally was stabilizing. I felt better. I wasn't sick at all. Like rarely was I getting nauseous. And I wasn't just like big enough that I was getting uncomfortable yet. So it was just like the sweet spot for me, this pregnancy, but it really only lasted like 3 or 4 weeks. And then things took a turn, and that's what you're gonna hear about in this video. So I have a few notes jotted down. I've been having a few more headaches. I had one that was like in the middle of the night. It woke me up, which is generally something as optometrists that we tell people to worry about, but I'm not worried that I have a brain tumor or anything like that. It was just like a really, really painful headache. Sorry about the foil sound. Let me get this done first. We're just having a smorgasbord of leftovers tonight, so I'm just throwing stuff together. So it was like a really painful headache that started in the middle of the night and really didn't let up until maybe lunchtime the next day. So like I had it all morning at work, and it was really uncomfortable. That was a bummer, but that finally went away, and I've just had like headaches here and there since then. Ironically, I've also had all of a sudden some more swelling, like in my feet and ankles, especially if I'm like sitting at my desk all day. It seems like if I'm on my feet, like walking around a bunch during the day, it's not as bad, which is interesting. I'm sure ideally it would be best if my feet were up, if I was like sitting down and my feet were up, of course. But I just don't have any time in the day that that's possible for me. So a little bit more swelling, a few more headaches, and then lightheadedness. I've been, today especially, extremely lightheaded. So the swelling headache thing makes people think preeclampsia, but my blood pressure is so low. Like we just checked it and it was like 96/58 or something. And that was after I struggled with the blood pressure cuff for a little bit. So really low blood pressure, and I'm very symptomatic of that. Like my lightheadedness has just been almost impossible to deal with. I drove an hour and a half today. Today's Saturday. I filled in at a clinic that's an hour and a half away and saw patients there in kind of this rural community. And I think it has something to do with, like, we have the Toyota minivan, and then we also have the Prius, and I think something about the way the seat is in the Prius makes me really lightheaded, like the position that the angle I have to sit at or something. So I noticed it first when we were in St. Louis, and then more recently today when I was driving to Rolla, and so I was really lightheaded right off the bat from being in the car. And then it's just like, it was a little bit better after I was seeing patients, and then I got lightheaded again coming home, of course, and then it just has progressively gotten worse. So I've been trying to lay down on my left side and just take it easy, but that's been not fun. I hate being lightheaded. Like my head feels like it's swimming, and it's just miserable. My scar from my incision's hurting more these last few weeks. I had my OB look at it, and he said it's just normal, it's just stretching and getting sensitive, and there's no way he's gonna not be able to have to cut the whole scar out. He said if he just cut through the middle of it, when he put me back together, there would be no way it would heal. So the plan is to get the scar totally cut out when I have my repeat C-section, and I'm I'm kind of glad I've decided on that, which answers some of your questions on Instagram. I'm glad I've decided on that because I want to give my body another chance to create a scar that is maybe better. But he warned me that it's just maybe the way my body heals. So, I've been peeing a lot more at night. So I was like a maybe one time, and now I'm like definitely a 2 time a night peer. So that really cuts into the sleep. I forgot like how bad your sleep gets the last few weeks of pregnancy, but the pregnancy pillow I talked about in my last update has helped immensely. It's way better than the pillow I used my twin pregnancy. So I'll leave a link for that below. I feel like even if you're not pregnant, that thing is just amazing. So check that out. I already mentioned emotionally I'm way better. I still have my days and I still have like my moments where I don't feel like myself, but overall, huge improvement after starting Zoloft, which is what I was put on. And it's, I think, 50 milligrams once a day. So it's like the lowest dose that they start you on. I'm forgetting to like prepare dinner while I'm doing this. I'm having more contractions. One thing I noticed is that I was comparing my belly from my last pregnancy to this pregnancy at the same time frame, and I noticed I was wearing the ring that was a little bit bigger that Brad got me, and I'm not having to do that yet. Like, I'm not swelling enough. I have moments, or sometimes in the morning I'm a little more swollen and my rings are tight, but that can happen anytime, I feel like. And so I haven't had to switch my rings yet. I don't know if that's coming, but I was already doing that when I was pregnant with the twins at this stage. And I'm getting a lot more tired, and that probably just has something to do with the whole sleep thing and not getting as good quality sleep. Just being pregnant and uncomfortable and not being able to find a comfortable position and having to pee a lot in the night. So that's all the things I wrote down. And then I went to Instagram and asked you guys if you had any questions specifically about this pregnancy. And I've actually got a lot of feedback from you guys. So sleeping arrangements for the baby, are the twins staying in cribs? The babies are staying in cribs as long as we can keep them in cribs. They're very happy in their crib, and actually the person that I've learned everything I know about sleep from recommends they stay in their crib until they're 3, and that's assuming they're not like climbing out of it, and that's just because that's the comfortable environment for them, and emotionally they're not necessarily ready to transfer to a toddler bed earlier than that. So we'll keep them in their crib as long as we can. How different is this? And then the new baby will sleep with us for at least 6 months, not with us in our bed, but in our room in a bassinet probably. And I think we're gonna do the snoo, so we'll see how that pans out, but that's the plan for the new baby. After that, I don't know. What are you most excited to do after having this baby? Most excited to do, I'm excited to have the experience of just nursing one baby and trusting myself from the get-go. With the twins, I was just constantly questioning everything, and I felt like I was torn between the two. I'm excited to just be able to focus on the one baby in terms of nursing. Of course, I'll have 2 other babies. How is this pregnancy different with one baby versus carrying twins at this point? So that's from Jessa W. Barley. I'm so sorry I butchered that. How is it different? I feel like discomfort-wise, I'm a little bit less uncomfortable because I don't have a baby in my ribs as much as I did with Lyndall, but everything else has been worse. I feel like I'm more lightheaded, I think, this time. I knew I dealt with it a little bit last time, but I'm less swollen, so that's good. I feel like I was more swollen then. How are you doing mentally? No, you're not alone. Thank you very much. That's something I've definitely learned from being open about the whole mental health thing, is that this is a struggle that a lot of people have, and you don't have to feel ashamed about it. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain, and that is evident to me now that I've started treatment to balance that chemical. So I'm feeling a lot better, which I touched on already. Baby gear / products you loved with the twins that you'll be using again for this baby, or new things you'll be getting. I feel like that needs to be its own vlog, but a few things off the top of my head are, I got the Snuggle Me, which is kind of like the DockATot to have just when we're like hanging out, and that's something that you can put the baby in like as a baby holder, not necessarily sleep safe like if they're unattended, but it's something that I felt like we used a lot, especially with Bear. Lyndall hated it. So I'll use that again, and I'll put links for anything I can find below.
So I'll be jumping in on the pregnancy update.
The battery died earlier.
And I'll be asking the questions from Instagram.
Now it's like a mukbang.
Follow us, Brad and Rach, on Instagram.
I would start from the bottom because I answered like the first 5 maybe from the top.
That's really far.
There's a lot of questions. Are we gonna try to get through them all, or do you want to just pick?
Nah, well, I'll just kind of rapid fire. Knowing what you know now, if this baby wasn't a surprise, would you, in hindsight, have waited longer to get pregnant? No. How long?
Yes, by like maybe 6 months.
Really?
We planned on doing a transfer in August. That's this month.
Yeah.
So we were planning on doing a transfer now, so only by about 6 months, but...
Yeah. But Rachel had stopped her birth control. Mental health update, question mark?
I already did it like 3 times.
Okay. Have you got any presents for Bear and Lyndall off the baby?
I think that means for the baby.
Oh.
No. Or from, maybe. I plan on getting presents for the baby from Bear and Lyndall and hoping that they can kind of pick them out. They're not going to understand at all what's going on. Right. But also they'll have presents from the baby and from us. Just maybe, not presents, maybe like one small gift.
What tea blend do you use for energy? Skinny tea? Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Teamy brand.
Are you ready to look after all 3 kiddos?
No.
Also, do you have a game plan for when you're home from the hospital with the new baby?
That's the thing I'm most nervous about. And that's like the only, if I let myself go there in my head, the place where I can get pretty sad is like thinking about my attention being taken away from Bear and Lyndall and how I know it's going to be hard for them and it'll be a transition. So like my biggest worry is being spread too thin. So it's going to be my goal to, just try to make everybody feel special. It's going to be hard, but that's the goal.
After this pregnancy, how long before you consider a third? We'll just have to wait and see.
I honestly just can't even go there in my mind right now. This pregnancy, it's been a huge blessing. I always say in my updates, I'm not trying to complain or not trying to sound like I'm complaining, but pregnancy is generally not a fun time. And this has been miserable.
As you eat what? Hey, at least it's watermelon and not ice cream.
As I eat a giant watermelon half.
It's really good though. What is the viability of a frozen embryo after being frozen for a long period of time? Exactly the same.
Viability, it doesn't change.
Exactly the same as being frozen for 2 days. What's your instinct about gender?
I don't have one. It was boy. It's totally up in the air now. I don't have an instinct.
Hugs to Tanya. She had a dream that she met us.
I read that. That's really cute. And it's interesting you don't remember your dreams or details about your dreams. I'm flattered. What is your instinct about gender?
Boy.
Boy. I can't imagine 2 Lyndalls. I can't imagine a female competing with Lyndall.
Did you talk about how you're definitely doing another C-section? Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna go to the comments and start typing about how I really need to try for a VBAC, save it. Was that mean?
No,
I've already made up my mind. I know, I've researched it ad nauseum.
Well, and you've said multiple times that you're doing a C-section. Are you gonna do a maternity photo shoot?
I don't think so.
No. What prenatals do you take?
I take some that were prescribed by my doctor. So it's like, I don't know, it's just comes in a prescription bottle.
How much water do you drink?
Probably not enough. I'm not as ridiculously thirsty this pregnancy as I was with my last. I'm waiting for that to happen. It's getting a little bit, I'm more thirsty at night now. I would probably say, what is that thing, 32 ounces? Probably close to 100 ounces a day. Probably 3 of those. I think I was drinking closer to like 120 to 140 with the twins, which is probably what I should be drinking. I just can't find the time. The kids, like if I have that around or on the floor, the kids knock it over or break my straw like they did this evening. So I'm looking at my water cup over there. You guys can't see what I'm looking at.
What's your favorite thing about being pregnant and least favorite thing?
Least favorite thing depends on which part of the pregnancy I'm in. In the beginning, it was throwing up all the time. Now it's the lightheadedness and like shortness of breath that's driving me crazy. And favorite thing, the miracle of carrying a human life. The kicks, I guess the kicks are my favorite part because that's just kind of a neat thing.
Denise 1952. Can I be his or her godmother? No. Can I just come for a Dadawa ride then?
We have a back seat on the Dadawa, on the Dadu.
Did you already talk about how different it's been carrying one baby compared to twins? Okay. So that's probably all of them then. What are you most excited about once the baby is here?
I said nursing one at a time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, someone asked, and this, I had not even thought of this. I don't know how I feel about it. What would I do if the twins showed interest in nursing after seeing the baby nurse?
Oh boy.
And they said I don't think that they would, which I don't think that they would, but
really?
Yeah, I just can't imagine that would be something they would.
It's been long enough, you would think.
They haven't had a bottle since they were a year old. Like it's been almost a year since they've had a bottle even. So I don't know that they would know how to nurse, like how to suck on a nipple. Sounds weird. Unless that's something you'd ever lose.
Yeah.
Brad, do you know?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know.
You are pregnant.
So, I don't think that that would be something I would allow.
Yeah, that would be weird.
No, I have not ruled out the fact that like if they all come down with some of the, like the same illness, that I would pump and maybe make my breast milk into a smoothie or something for the twins.
Yeah, I think that's
just
a good
to
idea.
help get the antibodies. But the baby would have to have the same. Maybe I would make antibodies. I guess I would make antibodies if I had it.
Right.
Whatever it was. So I would probably give them breast milk in the situations where they might be sick, but.
All right. Well, I need a shower.
Me too. As soon as I'm done with this watermelon. Well, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button. I'll try to do another one at like 35 weeks and then 37. And then it would be the week that the baby's born at 39 weeks. That my doctor does a C-section at 39 weeks. So we are 5 weeks and 6 days away. And then subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I just splashed myself with some watermelon. And we'll see you next time. Bye. P.S. I don't think I'm gonna edit any of this video. I think I'm just gonna throw it on there, so enjoy.